Welcome to the Only MAIDS podcast. Now your host, Nikki.
Let's get this money.
Welcome to the Only MAIDS podcast, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Nikki. Today, we're talking about something a lot of people think they want to do until they actually do it, you guys. So we're talking about building a business with your spouse. We're discussing the realities of working together, communicating under pressure, balancing marriage, and entrepreneurship is a lot. So we're talking about what it takes to build something meaningful as a team. In honor of Father's Day, too, you guys. Joining me tonight is Tara Padilla, owner of Texan Window Cleaning. Hey, Tara.
Hey, good evening. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here. So let's get right into it. So tell us about yourself, your husband, and how you guys ended up working together.
Sure. So my husband and I own Texan Window Cleaning, which is an exterior cleaning company here in the DFW. And we have been in business for 9 years. And my husband and I have actually been together for 21 years this year, which is crazy to think about. Thank you very much. I turned 38 next week. So we've actually been together longer than we haven't been together. If that makes sense.
Yes. Oh, well, happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we have gone through pretty much every season together, right? Sometimes it's a little different than other people just because we literally grew up together, you know? And so, you know, when you're young and you're dumb, and you make stupid choices. And so it wasn't always easy. And so when it came to thinking about running a business together, neither of us ever thought about owning a business. And we definitely never thought about owning one together because, you know, when we grew up, we went through so much together. And so there was a lot of stuff that we learned about each other, and we just never thought that we could, you know, run a business together, right? Like it's just with your spouse, like who thinks about that?
Right.
But
so how did it come up? You got
right. So exactly. So what it was he was working for a window cleaning company, and at the time it was very rocky. Coincidentally, and that's my husband's name too.
Nice.
You know, and it was very inconsistent. And at the time I had a desk job because that's what they told us to do, right? You grow up, you get a desk job, you get a 9 to 5. You know, you try to reach 6 figures and you stay there and you're happy, right? That's what they told us. So that's what I was doing, and I was getting experience. And so I had the experience of like the bookkeeping and the back end of things, and he had the experience out in the field. And with the inconsistencies of the people he was working for, you know, we came together and we said, you know, we can do this. I have the experience in the back, you have the experience in the field. At the time, I was also going to school, but I was going to school for accounting. And neither one of us knew how to market a business, right? And so I changed my degree, and I was like, okay, well, let me change my degree for marketing so that I can learn how to market this business. And
I love that.
So that's how we decided to kind of make it all work. You know, we figured out what my strengths were, what his strengths were, and how we could kind of lean on each other and make that work.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not always easy.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. I love that you doing the homework, like I like to call it. And you know what I mean? Learning about the back end of the industry and what you need to know and stuff like that. I absolutely love that.
I think my favorite thing is that a lot of times we make a competition out of it. We make it a game, right? Like who can get the most sales, or who can, you know, get the most screen repairs, or, you know, just like this is our goal, and how are we going to get there, you know, and what are you going to do to, you know, challenge me, you know, because
Absolutely.
it's easy to sometimes get complacent and kind of forget, you know, why you did it in the first place, especially because you can get humbled every day, right? And want to quit. And so, you know, to have your spouse there with you to kind of keep you going and motivate you is probably my most favorite thing.
I love that. That same for me. Same for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like we get kind of closer together. I don't know. It gives you guys a bond that is unlike anything else. I feel like, you know, just sharing that work and business and growth and all of that stuff, sharing it actually together it is amazing. I love it. I love that.
It is.
So what's been the most challenging, would you say?
I would say the most challenging thing is swallowing your pride, right? And realizing that sometimes you're not right, because I think we all think we're right all the time.
Right.
You know, you think your way is right, I think my way is right, and it's so hard sometimes, and sometimes you have to just kind of bite the bullet, and even if you know it's wrong, kind of just let them figure it out the hard way, right? Kind of like, and I hate to say this, and I hate to put it this way, but kind of like with your children, right? Like you have
Yeah,
to let them learn the hard way. So sometimes if you can't come to a mutual agreement, just kind of biting that bullet and be like, okay, like I might not agree with you, but let's try it your way and see if
absolutely.
it works. And then if it doesn't, it's kind of like one of those, I told you so, you know?
Right, right, right. I love that. I've been going to Bible studies as of late, and they call it dying to yourself. I find
Uh-huh.
myself having to do that a lot at home and when we're in the field together.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
And, you know, learning, I think one of the biggest things about growing the business is your business isn't going to outgrow you. Right. And so, in
mm,
the midst of growing your business, you're also growing yourself. So, kind of like
yeah,
you said with the Bible study, right? Like, I love that you're doing that, first of all. But second of
thank
all, that's helping you more than just in your personal life. That's helping you in business and in all aspects. So,
right. So, what are each of your roles in the company, Texan Window Cleaning?
oh, man. We have a lot of roles. We're still heavily involved. We do have a
Mm,
team, and we do have a team. I do have an assistant, but as far as our roles, obviously, I handle all of the back end. I handle the marketing. I handle the accounting. I handle some of the sales as well. I do
mm.
the networking and the fun stuff. And he handles the crew, and he handles the field and the shop, and kind of like ordering the supplies, and essentially like supervising, I guess you could say.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, so mine's the back end stuff, the boring stuff, the fun stuff, and then he's got the field and talking to the customers and stuff like that. So
Right, right, right. So, tell me about a time when working together went really well. I know I have in my head, I have times when they stand out to me, times when it went south and times that it actually did go pretty well for us. What about you? Do you have any stories you can share with us?
just thinking of, in general, like whenever we have something that we don't disagree on, I think we have worked really well on how to sit down and kind of work through it and figure it out. Because in the beginning it was like, my way or the highway. This is like, we call it our boxes, right? Like I have my boxes. These are the things that I do. You have your
Mhm.
boxes. This is what you do. So like I stay in my lane, you stay in your lane. But
Right.
sometimes, right? Like you have to merge, right?
Mhm.
And whenever you're merging, you kind of have to figure out how to work together. And so
Right.
I think that I would say in general that is probably one of the biggest things that I remember.
Right, yeah. And then you talked about communication. Communication is like huge in marriage in general, but
Yes.
transferring it over to entrepreneurship is a whole nother thing too. So
Right.
we're still in the early stages and we're still learning each other and growing a lot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I particularly found it little bit interesting trying to make sure that I wasn't treating him like one of my team members.
Mhm.
Right. So, do you have any suggestions or are there any certain boundaries that you like I set for yourself? I remind myself of things. I remind myself I don't need to approach it like that. I don't have to say this to him. So it's like
Yeah.
I have to remember to treat him like my husband on a job site. Does that make any sense? It's
Yes.
yeah.
And
How do you navigate that?
I think that's one of the things that was one of our questions that we were going to talk about, right? Like what is the struggle in, like, okay, yes, you're married, yes, you're business partners, but when, what is that line where, you have to make sure that it stays separate, because if not, you start feeling like, yes, like you're babying him, or like,
Right.
like you're treating him like he's one of the workers. But
Right.
I think you have to clearly determine what his roles are. And then so what exactly is his role in your business?
So my husband, like I was telling you prior, my husband is a workhorse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Physical labor
Works
is
hard.
nothing to him. The physical labor is nothing to him, but the physical labor is a big part of what we do, and it is very
100%.
demanding. But
Yes.
I found he's having to learn at this time, the more, the longer that we've been together and he's been my partner in this business, he's has to learn the industry, you know what I mean? The system,
Yes.
our clients, how to treat our clients and talk to them, the culture, and pretty much, learn everything that I've established prior to him getting here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
So
so,
he's pretty much your right hand man. He's having to learn
yeah,
all of the things that you're doing right now. And
yes,
so
ma'am.
yeah, I mean, I think like you just have to figure out where his strengths are and
Mhm.
figure out, exactly what role he'll be in. And it sounds like right now he's more than likely going to be kind of like my husband. He's going to be the supervisor of the people in the field because he's being trained in 100% how to do that. And so
Yeah.
that will be his lane, and since he's out there and he's seeing those things all the time. Yes, because you've been there and you know what I mean? You're out there in the field too, which I have too. It's not my most favorite thing. My strengths are where I am, and
Right.
you've figured out doing everything where your strengths are, and so you'll quickly see where his strengths are, and you'll figure out that lane, and you'll merge into it every once in a while, and he'll figure out how to communicate with you and say, hey, back up just a little bit, let me handle this, even if
Uh,
it's the wrong way, let me make my mistakes. And that's the hardest thing, is letting him make those mistakes.
yeah. And I'm
Because
doing
this is
that.
your
I'm learning.
baby.
I know, right? So, but I'm learning too that I have to do that. I have
Mhm.
to, I still, I'm a natural teacher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm always letting him know everything that I know. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And giving him links and things to read and stuff like that. But yes, you're right. I'm trying to be intentional about just like stepping back and letting him find his footing, kind of like I did, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, without just absolutely throwing away all of the years of learning that I've spent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. It's challenging. This is going to turn into a counseling session. Counselor Tara. But
Listen,
yeah,
I give great advice. I'm telling you that right now. Sometimes I don't take it, but I give great advice.
I could tell. I could tell. But yeah, so this is building a business with your spouse is definitely challenging. So how do you guys balance it with the kids? How do the kids fit into that at all? We're just mentioning them one time.
Yeah. So the reasoning behind, I think, a lot of our businesses, our why is our children, right? Like our legacy, how
Yeah.
we can, give them things that we didn't have. I think a lot of us kind of grew up the same way, and we want to give our children everything we never had. And so that was one of the things of, why we started our business. And so initially we thought that our oldest was going to come in and he was going to, start cleaning and kind of be like your husband, right? Like learn everything that we know so he can take over.
Right.
But we quickly learned that he is not such a workhorse.
Okay.
He does work. He's had a job since he was 14, but like the general labor side of it is not his thing.
Uh,
So we thought he was gonna come in and do the general labor side of it, but that just wasn't his thing. And
mhm.
so he was playing football and he ended up breaking his hip.
Oh
And
man.
so whenever he broke his hip, he figured, I want to do something still involved, but I don't want to play football anymore. So then he started doing photography and videography for the football games.
Mhm.
So he learned how to do photography and videography. And I was like, hey,
Awesome.
we need that for our business. So
Yeah.
he actually works with us. Our oldest does. And so
Awesome.
that's how he's involved. And then our youngest, he's only 7 right now, so he doesn't know what he wants to do, but he says he wants to clean windows when he grows up. So we'll see.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So we had last episode we were talking about, well, the one before that we were talking about the kids and the influence that we have on them and just seeing us, building our businesses. So they get to see you guys do it together and you guys do it as a family. So
Yeah.
I love that. That's a whole nother layer.
Our It is, and it's been incredible because our oldest has grown up with us too. I had him whenever I was 19, and
Okay.
so he's been with us all the way. And
Uh,
he's starting his own business doing the photography and the videography. He does it for our garage door company as well, and he's starting to build his portfolio. And so seeing his passion and his drive and
Good.
his ability and his want to start a business, like I never wanted that at his age. And so just seeing how we've impacted him. He went networking with me the other day and he got up and
Yes,
did his
girl.
30-second elevator speech. And so just seeing that is just incredible. And like I said earlier, running a business will humble you, but being able
Yeah.
to see that is reminds you why you do what you do.
It is so amazing and fruitful. Okay, well, you're gonna have to shout little fella out. What's the name of his company? Where can
Uh,
we find him?
Yes, and so his name, or excuse me, the name of his business is Tray and Focus,
Okay.
and he's on Instagram. I told him he needs to start posting more of his work on Facebook and stuff because that's where the older generation is, you
Right.
know?
I have a cousin, she's cooking out there in California,
Wow.
amazing, like fire, and she's not on Facebook. I'm like, "What are you
Oh,
doing? Get on
I
Facebook."
know.
Everybody's selling their food on Facebook.
Yes, these kids are like, Facebook is for old people, so.
I know one time, so this goes into, I guess, the learning curve.
Mhm.
But my husband, we were cleaning office of that we clean, and he was vacuuming. That's what I usually have him do is vacuum and high dusting and things like that. And I told him to put the vacuum away. Girl, I went into the utility closet, and he literally had the entire vacuum, hanging on one of those hooks where you hang the brooms and
Oh, man.
the mops on the wall, and it was actually hanging there. It hadn't fallen down. I was like,
Wow.
"What kind of food is
Impressive.
that?" Right.
Impressive.
That was so
Okay.
funny to me. I don't know why I remember that story. It was just
That is
hilarious.
hilarious.
Right, and it was so cute.
He
Like,
was
he
trying to
really
save room
doesn't
on the
know, I guess.
ground.
Right, right, right. So I do have to be active about teaching him some things, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
about the industry, I guess, that I learn and things that I know. So
Yeah, and sometimes like you do it all the time, right? So you think like obviously it doesn't get hung on the thing, but he doesn't do it all the time, and so he's not thinking.
right. And I have a picture of it I'll send you after this, but it
That's
is
too funny.
hilarious.
That is too
As
funny.
we
Are also workhorses,
Yep.
and so it is literally like sometimes we have to force ourselves to be like, all right, like we can't talk about work anymore. Like even on date nights, right? Like
Yes.
we went to World Springs a couple times. And like the very first time, like something happened with a customer that we had to handle while we were there. And so our entire night was ruined. Like if something
Oh,
bad
no.
happens with a customer, like I'm done. Like I until it gets taken care of, I'm not okay. And so
Yeah,
our
yeah.
entire night was ruined. And he's like, babe, like you got to learn to like just not answer your phone. Like the house is not on fire. Like it's going to be okay. And I'm like, no, it has to get handled right now.
Right, right,
And
right.
so we do honestly and truthfully really struggle with that. The
Mhm.
advice that I can give that I
Okay,
don't take very well is
okay.
make sure that you date your spouse. Make sure
Yeah.
that you guys have planned date nights every single week. And it needs to go on the calendar. It needs to be a
Mhm.
non-negotiable because if, like you said, you live together, it ends up starting to feel like you're like, and this is fine, like just best friends and roommates. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
That still obviously love each other, but it's easy to fall into that trap. And so
Right.
that's one of those things that we still really struggle with. But we come to the conclusion, we're like, hey, we haven't been on a date in a while. Like we need to get back into the date night thing, especially whenever it's busy season. You know how it is. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
busy season, and so we're always thinking about work nonstop. And so
yeah.
it's one of those things that we have to force ourselves. Okay, like let's turn it off. Let's talk about, anything other than work.
Yes, I'm so glad to hear that. I don't feel so terrible because us too, it's so hard to turn it off sometimes, and I feel like I'm a little bit more intentional about it than my husband. So, but yes, we will literally be driving in the car, even sometimes leaving job sites. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Nope, we'll not talk about it right now." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, especially like trying to set boundaries and not have those discussions on date night,
Yeah.
family time. You know what I mean? But like you said, it's
Yes.
real hard not to sometimes. I find it
It
much
is.
easier because I just want to,
You just
you
wanna turn
know,
it off,
I
yeah,
just want
and
to
that's
turn
how
it
my
off.
husband is. My husband can turn it off, and I'm like, I pray, like, sometimes I'm like, I need to turn it off, I can't turn it off, and
Mhm.
so, like, I'm like, "I wanna be more like you," but
Yeah,
he can turn it off, and so he's
yeah.
like, "Okay, you have to," and I'm like, "I
You
can't."
have to. And I'm learning also too that my clients are going to be there,
For
you
sure.
know.
Yeah.
They'll be fine if I do
Mhm.
not answer this time at 9 p.m.
Yes. Yeah. Boundaries
Yeah.
are super important, and as empathetic people, we try to take care of
Mhm,
people ASAP, and it's just one of
mhm.
those things. Sometimes people take advantage of it, so.
Absolutely, they do, and I feel like it's kind of I don't know, it's a little bit easy for them to like you said, when you have empathetic business owners who actually care and show
Yeah.
up, people know that and recognize that, you know what I mean? And we do know that to a certain extent, you know, speed is important in business. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But
Everyone's
that's
looking for right now,
right
convenient.
now. So,
Yeah.
but like you said, you have to be intentional about setting boundaries and know when that's appropriate to respond to and when it
Yeah.
should be okay. You know what I mean? Love that.
Another thing I wanted to touch on too, we kind of talked about it earlier, was about communication and how important it was and how difficult it is, right? And I think that's one of those things that kind of goes in with the boundaries of, making sure that you date your spouse, and
Mhm.
learning how to communicate is so important. And for my husband, it's very difficult.
Yeah, yeah.
Even in our relationship, he has ADHD, and so his brain
Mhm.
is just like all over the place. And so sometimes
Yeah.
he'll think that he told me something,
Mhm.
and then he didn't tell me, and I am like an over communicator, and so
Uh-huh.
like we have to find that balance, right? But
Right.
learning how to communicate with one another, is definitely one of the most important things in business, right? And in your relationship too. So
Yes, it is. I'm like both of you. My brain is always everywhere and I'm still always forgetting everything. So that's why I write everything down. And my
Me
husband,
too.
he has good memory. So that's why I say things out loud to him also. So he's like my memory recorder.
Yes. I love it. So you
Yeah.
write it down, and then you've got him like, did you remember that?
Right, right, right. Or what did I just tell you 5 minutes
Yep.
ago? Yeah, but yeah, my brain is like that too. Entrepreneur brain is real, you guys. You have to take
Yes.
care of your mental health. I know we're talking about entrepreneurship and working with your spouse today, but mental health is everything. What lesson do you wish you had learned earlier about working with your spouse?
I think that was what I told you earlier. The biggest lesson that I learned would be biting my tongue and swallowing my pride, realizing that I may not always be right. And even if I am, to give people that leeway to kind of figure it out on their own. I think that was one of the hardest things for me to learn. We are very much alike, my husband and I, and we are very strong-willed people, and
Yeah,
very passionate about,
yeah,
everything that we do. So I think just learning that was very difficult for me, and I wish I would have definitely learned that sooner. But
yeah.
it comes from experience. Well, so, like, with us, I'm not out in the field with him, all the
Yeah.
time. I have been occasionally, but girl, that is not for me. So,
Mhm, mhm.
I don't get to see all the funny stuff. That's him and the guys get to
Right.
themselves. I think I'm funny in the group text, but nobody ever laughs at my jokes.
So you guys have a group text for are your teams and stuff?
So we have 2 guys that work with us, and then so I have the 2 guys and then my assistant, me and my husband in the group text, so everybody can kinda know what's going on, because
I
the
love that.
2 the 2 guys ride in the truck together typically, and then my husband's by himself because he's like 2 people.
Right, right, right.
So it's usually him and then the guys, and then my assistant and I have to kind of figure out what's going on with them, so
Are you ready for the rapid fire round?
I don't know, but let's do it.
It'll be fun. Okay. Ready. Who is more likely to be late to a meeting?
Him.
Spend money on a new idea?
Him.
Forget to respond to an email?
Definitely him.
I think you told it that too. What about fire a difficult client?
It's always me, typically. Well, no, I will say okay, yeah, rapid fire. Him first, but we're on the same page with it.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay, so here's another fun one. Finish this sentence. My spouse's biggest strength in business is
Biggest strength in business is his sales ability.
I love it. Yes. And the reason, finish this sentence. The reason our partnership works is
We understand each other.
yes. I need to put that clapping sound.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, this was a great conversation that we had here today, Miss Tara. Make
Yes.
sure, please tell us where we can find your info and all of your business details in case anybody wants to contact you guys and where you're at.
Absolutely. So you can find us at texanwindowcleaning.com. The name of our business is Texan Window Cleaning. We are a full service exterior cleaning company. We do window cleaning, pressure washing, gutter cleaning, all things exterior to increase that curb appeal. You can find our videos and before and after pictures on our Facebook and see my husband and our team at work. Everything is like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Texan Window Cleaning, and also on our Google Texan Window Cleaning. You can find everything there as well.
Yes, yes, you guys look her up. We love it. We love it. So thank you for joining us, Tara. And in closing, you guys, so building a business with your spouse isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about learning how to grow together while protecting the relationship that matters the most. So happy Father's
Absolutely.
Day and enjoy. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.